Do you think there's a trend where people are taking more steroids, as in like youngsters are getting into it
I think that
earlier?
younger
'Cause
people
it's
now
more, like,
take more
accepted.
SARMs because they're more readily available. You probably know what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite steroids, but similar.
Mhm.
And now they're all doing peptides. And a lot of kids are experimenting with, it's not really not natural, but things like Cialis to get the better pumps and the veins and all that stuff, which can make a difference. Like you look a lot better. And also in clomiphene, which can pretty much double your testosterone. It's also banned by WADA. So people are, I don't think taking more steroids at the young age, but taking something that's a PD, like banned by WADA and whatnot.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think there's way more now.
The way things are going with all the biohacking, I think people are going to get more into that with experimenting with different things like the peptides and just trying to do everything possible to optimize their body so it's in an environment where it can put on as much muscle.
Yeah, and I'm not even to say that I'm judging them for not doing it. Like to me, if you're an adult, you can make your own decisions. Like, do you want to use BPC 157, or if you're on HRT or whatever, it's like based on like, does the doctor think you need it or not? But at the same time, I don't think like 17-year-olds should be doing it.
No.
There's a kid, Anthony Mantello. I did an ad or not on him a couple of years ago. He said he was natural, but he actually didn't say it. He just didn't talk about it. And then he came out in a video 2 days ago. He said, I started taking SARMs at 16. I was on LGD 4033, something else. And he's like, I was on at 16, like in grade 11.
Yeah.
And so you can see the pressure. And he just turned IFBB pro last year and he just decided to quit. He was going to be a pro. And he's like, he was miserable. He had no energy. He wasn't chasing life. And the steroids had messed him up. So he decided to just go on HRT now.
Do you think this comes from social media? And just like these
pressure to take steroids?
Well, yeah, this is the youngsters who are constantly being bombarded with all these guys who have a great physique, but you know, most of these guys are usually 5 years, 10 years older.
The sad truth is that the superstars in the fitness industry, I'm talking CBum, Chris Bumstead and Sam Sulek, to me are like kind of above everyone else, like Chris especially. Chris started taking steroids at 18, admittedly. And Sam Sulek, he doesn't openly talk about it, but we know he's been on steroids for multiple years and they're just young kids. And so without even speaking about it, your physique is doing the speaking for you. If you're 250 pounds of muscle at 20, 21, and you have 5 million followers and you see that, you're like, I want to be like Sam Sulek. You're going to make your hair grow the same. You're going to wear the same clothes. You're going to buy from whatever Young LA or whatever company they're sponsored by. And you're going to take the same drugs to get that look. And you see it as a road to success.
Yeah. So let's just take it back. For those people who are thinking about doing it, what should they do instead before they start to hop on anything? I mean, there may be some people actually need to go on TRT because if they do check their blood work, maybe their testosterone levels are really low. And maybe they try and do everything to try and optimize it, but genetically speaking, they're just fucked for testosterone production. In which case, then it would make sense for them to get onto something. But most people, there's a couple of things which they can do which can help them out massively just to improve their rate of progress.
Well, I think the sad thing is that it's the parents need to do a better job with the kids in the first place. So what do they need to do? They need to reevaluate their mindset on why they need to get this so quickly. Like I didn't use steroids until I was in my 30s. I started training when I was 10. I did 42 shows natural. So every year I would make a little bit of improvements, like 3, 4, maybe 5 pounds at the most. And I loved it so much. I just loved the journey. These kids now, they want to have their dream physique by tomorrow.
Yeah.
The problem is the faster you get that dream physique, the faster you're going to lose it if you stop taking the steroids. And so what I always say is to stretch out your progress, stretch out your gains, because as long as you're making improvements, it's fun. But if you make too much improvements too quickly, like say you gain 20 pounds your first year, the next year you gain 10, you're like, this sucks because you're used to gaining 20.
Yeah.
But when I was young, I was gaining so slow that every year it just felt the same. So I was able to extend my career so much longer. And if you wait until you're older, you're going to be less tempted to kind of just like get bored of the sport. Like, do you know how many guys actually stick to being a bodybuilder for 10 years? Mostly out in 5. And worse is the women. You've probably seen and met a lot of women with their voices are just gone. They're on steroids at 18, 19, 20. It's cool. You have a tight-knit group of people. You're 25 and you're like, okay, I don't want to be a bikini model anymore, but now you're shaving every day.
Yeah. And you got a deep voice.
Yeah. So I would tell these kids, just take your time with the growth and stop scrolling on Instagram and thinking you need to look like that guy and just compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah. But just be consistent and enjoy the journey.